Akari.
Hey! What the heck?
Akari.
Oh, the title call. This video is...
Don't forget to subscribe!
Hi! This is Mimi, and welcome back to another review episode of Team Smash's Halloween Adventures. And we'll be reviewing SpongeBob's Halloween specials. So let's get this started!
Spoiler alert!
As the episode begins, on the evening of Halloween in Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob is cleaning the dishes as the Krusty Krab at the end of the workday. He becomes frightened by the door suddenly closing and a message reading, "Boo!" written on the order slips. As he finishes, he begins to run away, but Mr. Krab stops him and asks him if he wants to hear his annual scary story, and then he does. So Mr. Krabs tells the story of the Flying Dutchman, a ghost who steals souls on Halloween. Squidward, dressed up like the Flying Dutchman, appears behind SpongeBob, saying that he will steal his soul, terrifying him. SpongeBob, who has a reputation for being scared so easily, is then nicknamed SpongeBob Scaredy Pants. So he runs home and is scared by everything he sees on the way. After accidentally being scared by Patrick wearing Groucho Marx glasses, he asks him for help. They make a Flying Dutchman costume, but it fails to scare anyone, sadly. SpongeBob realizes that a real ghost has a round head and that he has a square one. So Patrick attempts to shave SpongeBob's head, making it round. Believing themselves to be scary, SpongeBob and Patrick go around town attempting to scare people and believe themselves to be successful in doing so, although their victims are simply confused by their antics. Then they go to the roof of the Krusty Krab, where a Halloween party is taking place. They turn off all the lights in the building and Patrick lowers SpongeBob in with a rope while providing the voice of the Dutchman, which initially terrifies everyone. However, when a jellyfish stings Patrick, whom the rope is tied to, he starts running around in pain, causing SpongeBob to fly around uncontrollably, exposing his true identity. Everyone starts laughing at SpongeBob, but soon the real Flying Dutchman appears. He explains to them how offended he is by dressing up as him as Halloween, and that SpongeBob's costume is the worst of all. Before he is about to steal the souls of everyone present, the Flying Dutchman first takes off SpongeBob's costume, which reveals that his brain is almost completely exposed as a result of Patrick's shaving. So the Dutchman flees in terror, and subsequently, everyone runs away from the Krusty Krab screaming, leaving SpongeBob satisfied to finally have succeeded in scaring people. Patrick comments on SpongeBob's pink hat, and SpongeBob explained that it's not a hat, but rather his brain.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He up.
Don't worry, it grows back!
At the beginning of the episode, SpongeBob and Patrick are just lying on the ground and they watch the clouds until they see a haunted houseboat crashing to the ground near them. Patrick inevitably wanted to check it out, but SpongeBob said that looks dangerous. Patrick soon convinces SpongeBob to come along with him. So they go check it out, and Patrick thinks the boat is lame, but SpongeBob, on the other hand, he thought it was real. He looks at a painting of flowers that is in the boat, and he states that they are pretty, but the flowers turn into snakes and hiss at SpongeBob, which causes him to intentionally freak out. Soon they meet Lord Poltergeist, who Patrick stupidly thinks is a robot that serves pizza. Lord Poltergeist says that he will sing a sea shanty to make SpongeBob and Patrick believe that he is a real ghost. At the end of the song, Poltergeist asks if they believe now, but Patrick still does not believe and he wants pizza. So Lord Poltergeist gives him a pizza that has anchovies on it, which scares them out of their wits. And this causes them to fearfully acknowledge him as a ghost, even causing a scared Patrick to be willing to sacrifice SpongeBob and save himself, while the unamused Lord Poltergeist sarcastically remarks, "That's a pretty nice friend you got there." SpongeBob then asks why Lord Poltergeist is in Bikini Bottom, and it is because there is a broken head gasket. Lord Poltergeist then takes their souls, but gives SpongeBob a balloon to buy a new head gasket. He says if they do not return with a new head gasket in 24 hours, their souls will be gone forever. SpongeBob and Patrick run to the Krusty Krab and tell the customers about the ghost, though their freaked out behavior causes the customers to flee. So Mr. Krabs orders SpongeBob to calm down, and he wants to know what is with this chaos. So he calms down and tells Mr. Krabs about how Lord Poltergeist stole their souls and gave them a doubloon to buy a head gasket. So Mr. Krabs takes the doubloon, and after seeing it is real, he takes a head gasket from a boat that is outside the Krusty Krab to the owner's ire. And then he forces Squidward to come along with them after promising him a break room if he does come along and steal the ghost's treasure. Sandy then comes with ghost equipment, claiming she was looking for milkshake gremlins, and she wants to catch some ghosts. The five go back into the boat where Lord Poltergeist was last seen. Mr. Krabs steals the doubloons and hands bags of them to Squidward and Patrick. Mr. Krabs then sees a doubloon that is stuck to the bottom of the chest. He tries to pull it out, but ends up setting off a trap, which causes Lord Poltergeist to reappear. SpongeBob gives him the head gasket, and Poltergeist gives SpongeBob and Patrick orange soda instead of their souls, and reveals that he never took their souls in the first place. He sucks Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and Patrick, who are trying to escape with gold in a void, and shows them their greatest fears in history.
First, Mr. Krabs has to use the bathroom, and then he finds a portable bathroom, but he has to use it. In order for him to use it, he must pay one doubloon, and he screams at the thought of spending his money. Next, Patrick wishes for a donut, and then a talking one comes up on his head that Patrick annoys, and the donut screams at him to pick something already. So Patrick wishes for a donut with sprinkles, then chocolate, then a bagel, and a stack of pancakes, and then a Krabby Patty until he decides to go back to a plain donut. The donut screams at the fact that it must deal with Patrick for eternity, as the starfish is oblivious to the fact that he had outsmarted his worst nightmare. Something Lord Poltergeist intended to be impossible. Finally, Squidward encounters a gargantuan-sized SpongeBob, which makes him scream. Sandy sucks the three back into her ghost hunting equipment. Then Mr. Krabs and Lord Poltergeist fight for the chest of doubloons, and they fling it into the air, and SpongeBob catches it and sees a property of the Flying Dutchman stamp at the bottom of the chest, followed by a phone number, which causes a Flying Dutchman to appear and reclaim his doubloons, but ends up being tricked by Lord Poltergeist that they were looking for him to give back the gold. So Lord Poltergeist runs away until the boat breaks down. Finally, the Flying Dutchman turns into a torpedo that makes a huge void that sucks everyone inside. The episode finishes with the Krusty Krab in the void with new workers and customers. SpongeBob tells everyone to hold on to something. He tells the giant demonic SpongeBob to flip the restaurant, for the void to flip the restaurant, and he does so, and his face turns into the Flying Dutchman's and laughs evilly.
Act 1 starts off with SpongeBob putting sparkly decorations on his house for Halloween. Patrick comes by in a night costume. Louie is not amused by SpongeBob's house because it is too cute for Halloween. SpongeBob shows him his Daisy costume, but he's still not impressed because it is not scary enough. Patrick shows SpongeBob what's scary is when Squidward's house scared the trick-or-treaters with onions. SpongeBob admits that he loves to go trick-or-treating, but he is afraid to go out on Halloween. So Patrick tells SpongeBob that there is no need to be afraid as long as he believes in the simple statement, scary equals funny. SpongeBob agrees and goes with him. The first place they stop at is Sandy's tree dome. Sandy appears in her mad scientist outfit and is dubbed under the name Dr. Frankencheeks. She, SpongeBob, and Patrick play a guessing game with their jars of horror, and she shows them her latest invention, the acorn monster. Afterwards, SpongeBob and Patrick stop over at the Krusty Krab, when Mr. Krabs and Squidward are doing a haunted tour of the Chump Bucket. SpongeBob enjoys the haunted tour and laughs himself out. Mr. Krabs asks why SpongeBob is laughing, but he tells him that he has a new story, scary equals funny. SpongeBob theory does not intrigue both Mr. Krabs and Squidward, and claim it is a major insult on Halloween. SpongeBob and Patrick stop over at the Chump Bucket, where Plankton and Karen are doing the haunted tour of the Krusty Krab. Both But they both realize that SpongeBob finds this funny as well, and it deeply annoys both Plankton and Karen. Meanwhile, in the skies above Bikini Bottom, the Flying Dutchman is enjoying himself on Halloween. However, he is frozen by SpongeBob's laughter, and he descends downward and goes to ask SpongeBob why he is laughing on Halloween. SpongeBob says that he used to be scared until Patrick told him that scary equals funny. So the Flying Dutchman is offended by that statement at first, but when he looks at the Krusty Krab decorations, he concludes that they are as laughable. SpongeBob claims they are. He decides to offer them a thrill ride inside of his pirate ship, to which both SpongeBob and Patrick agree on.
For Act 2, SpongeBob and Patrick ride inside the ship where it is filled with ghost skulls, skeletons, and monsters, and Patrick is extremely terrified, but SpongeBob thinks it's still funny. The Flying Dutchman begins to get annoyed with SpongeBob's laughter, but he soon gets another idea. Upon hearing that SpongeBob has other friends, the Flying Dutchman unleashes a ghostly mist that separates the souls of Sandy, Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Plankton, and Gary from their bodies. SpongeBob and Patrick are still riding in the ship, and they encounter the souls of their friends locked in cages as they scream for help. SpongeBob still finds this funny, as he intentionally does not think it is really them until he notices Patrick's soul caged up as well. Patrick confesses that he had been wrong all along, and admits that sometimes scary equals scary. After hearing that and seeing Patrick's soulless body, SpongeBob finally realizes the damage embracing Patrick's theory has done, and runs out of the ship in fear, but despite his fear, he decides to go back and rescue his friends. Back on the ship, the Flying Dutchman tortures the souls of SpongeBob's friends. Plankton manages to set himself free and offers the Flying Dutchman a deal. Plankton takes over the world so they can split it 70-30. The Dutchman, however, ignores the offer and instead turns Plankton into his ghoulish servant. Just as the Dutchman is about to roast the souls of SpongeBob's friends over a pit of demonic blue flames, SpongeBob appears in Sandy's acorn monster puppet. He goes to attack the Dutchman but ends up flying into a wall, destroying the puppet in the process. The Dutchman laughs at SpongeBob as he believes that he is too stupid to scare someone like him. Plankton manages a scary thing SpongeBob has inside his brain, which infuriates the Dutchman to the point of stepping on him, however. He is encouraged to fly inside his brain and have a look. Inside his brain, the Flying Dutchman encounters various creatures flying around and they carry him everywhere. All of the dream creatures succeeded in doing is unnerving the Dutchman, and he concludes that SpongeBob does not have any scary thoughts in his brain. But SpongeBob, however, regains consciousness, says that what always scared him is when his mother takes out his naked baby pictures. And at that moment, a giant naked baby version of SpongeBob appears and hugs the Flying Dutchman. The other dream creatures approach him as well, and the Dutchman becomes scared. He flies out of SpongeBob's head and runs away frightened. As his ship disappears, the soul of SpongeBob's friends return to their bodies. So both SpongeBob and Patrick agree that they learn never to use shortcuts, such as Patrick's scary equals funny theory, to face their fears again, and everyone runs into the Krusty Krab for the party. Meanwhile, Plankton gets picked up by a trick-or-treater and eats him, mistaking him for a piece of candy, and the episode ends. So Squidward is outside in his yard trying to get the sea urchins away from his garden. The mailman arrives and gives him mail. Squidward sees that it is for Nosferatu and mentions the mailman made a mistake once again. He tries to throw it away, but SpongeBob appears, who is doing some spring cleaning, and says it's a federal crime to do so. Squidward decides to deliver the mail to Nosferatu, and SpongeBob tags along too. So they arrive at Nosferatu's castle, where Nosferatu is seen flipping the lights on and off. They give him the mail and packages. They try to leave, but it is raining. So Slappy invites them to spend the night. It turns out that it wasn't really raining and that Slappy tricked them. Soon, SpongeBob and Squidward eat dinner with Nosferatu and Slappy, to which Squidward is disgusted by. Soon it is time for bed, and SpongeBob keeps leaving the bathroom to do things he forgot. While SpongeBob is absent from the room, Nosferatu tries to attack Squidward. They see him in the wall and they try to escape, but to no avail. There are many scary things in the castle. Soon they enter Nosferatu's coffin room, and they try to hide there. Slappy shows up and tells them that Nosferatu would be very unhappy to find them there.
and then Nosferatu shows up, scaring them again. He gives Squidward a package which is garlic. Nosferatu hisses at the garlic, and Slappy says that Nosferatu was only joking about not liking it. Soon the lights start to flicker on and off, and the board gets scared, which is revealed to be the Phantom of the Opera. The episode ends with all of them laughing, and Slappy's head falls off.
As for Slappy Days, we apologize if the synopsis is short. At Nosferatu's castle, Slappy wakes up, takes a shower, and serves breakfast to Nosferatu, who has a runny nose, and Slappy takes him to a doctor. The doctor says that Nosferatu will need to stay for 2 hours. Slappy then rides his bike to Bikini Bottom to do various things for the next 2 hours. He goes to an arcade and plays various games, and then he goes to spray water at bottles. He then goes to the pet store before finally returning back to the doctor. The doctor gives Nosferatu a lollipop, which sucks the color off. The episode ends with the two heading back to the castle.
Did you know that?
The title card background in SquarePants is similar to those in Nature Pants and Muscle Bob Buff Pants, except with pumpkins and ghosts added in. And the episode's title is referenced numerous times when people call SpongeBob Scaredy Pants. The Ghastly Ones sing SpongeBob Scaredy Pants, which is a Halloween remix of the theme song itself, and it could be heard at the end credits of this episode, and it is also used as a special feature on the Halloween DVD. And, to be honest, SpongeBob's brain reveal casts a shadow that looks identical to Squidward's face shape. Patrick screamed when he realizes SpongeBob's pink hat is actually... His brain is later reused in Survival of the Idiots, I Had an Accident, and to save a squirrel. The main characters' Halloween costumes are Sandy is a pet goldfish in a bowl, Squidward is the Flying Dutchman, Carl is the bride of Frankenstein or a lady vampire, Patrick is Groucho Marx, Mrs. Puff is a witch, and SpongeBob is the ghost of the Flying Dutchman. Ironically, Brian Doyle Murphy, who played the Flying Dutchman in this episode and all subsequent episodes featured on this character, was also born on Halloween. It's actually kind of interesting, to be in fact, because it's pretty much interesting. And this marks this last season 1 episode where Pearl cries, and also she just cries a third time. Just to make sure that it was most likely accurate. And to be honest, it was paired up with different episodes in many different marathons. For Goals Fulls, the title card background is similar to that of Big Sister Salmon's Sentimental Sponge, except it is black and white. It's revealed that Mr. Krabs does not believe in germs, at least on money. This likely explains why he pays the money at all times. Squidward breaks the fourth wall by saying, I guess this is the part where I start screaming. Lord Poltergeist's name is not in this episode. It's not spoken in this episode, and it's later revealed in an online game. And he's listed as captain in the credits. And this is the first episode of the series since One Krabs Trash with the 1986 Paramount logo, but with the 2010 Viacom byline. This variant was taken at the end of the credits of the movie Paranormal Activity 3, which was released in theaters in both the United States and Canada on the 21st of October the next year, which is 2011. The same day this episode premiered. And, to be honest, there is a book based on this episode called Haunted Houseboat. In some countries, the Layer in the Void time card is left unspoken. The Legend of Bikini Bottom is the final stop-motion episode to premiere during Stephen Hillenburg's lifetime. And, to be honest, the character wears the following Halloween costumes. SpongeBob is a daisy, Patrick is a knight, Mr. Krabs is a dollar bill, Plankton is a devil, Karen is a cat, and Sandy is a mad scientist. The stop-motion models of Mrs. Puff and Pearl from the Christmas ones were originally going to appear, but their scenes had to be cut for the final episode for time. And, according to Vincent Waller, an entire wraparound with Patchy was finalized and written, but it was not filmed because there was already enough material to fill 22 minutes. And the same character models from Nietzsche's SpongeBob Christmas are used in this episode, and it premiered on Friday the 13th, which is pretty shocking, to be honest. And during the premiere of the episode, a banner would appear, informing viewers about Spectrum's decision to drop 23 Viacom CBS channels, including Nickelodeon, and ways they'll not lose these channels. This only happened on Nickelodeon's subfeed for Spectrum. other cable providers did not show this message. And this is the highest viewed Season 11 episode. And this is the first half-hour special of Season 11. As for SquarePants, along with Slappy Days, are currently the lowest viewing episode in the series, as well as the entire franchise, with only 234,000 viewers. This is the first Halloween-themed episode of Season 13, along with Slappy Days, its sister episode. This is the 4th episode to show blood, and this is the 5th episode where SpongeBob's eyes are sentiment. This is the 13th Halloween special, and this episode is 15 minutes long, and its sister episode is 7 minutes long. And repeating from Patrick the Mailman, the laugh Nosferatu makes at one point is actually a hyena. The episode and its sister both feature Nosferatu and Slappy. Nosferatu appears in a painting when SpongeBob and Squidward were running downstairs in a hallway in fear. This marks his first appearance in the main series. This episode and Slappy Days are the first episodes to be aired in Latin America at the same date in the USA since Grim and Gary, which was November 28, 2008. And, to be honest, Slappy breaks the fourth wall at the end of this episode where his head bounces off after being sliced off by the camera. As for Slappy Days, the episode was originally going to be called Slappy Days, and it's the first episode to be centered around Slappy. And this is the 3rd episode to show the Moonbeam sentiment, the 5th episode to show blood, the 14th Halloween special, and it's 7 minutes long. This episode and SquarePants were also the first episodes to be aired in Latin America on the same day as the United States of America.
Now you know!
So we give my Halloween specials a 10 out of 10, a perfect score.
Next time, it's Fear Factor Phony, the first episode of Pokemon Battle Frontier.
Thank you for watching. What do you think? If you appreciate the content, please be sure to super smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to our channel. And please be sure to follow us on Instagram or my DeviantArt. And don't forget to leave a comment because we really accept kind thoughts. But we here do not allow any trolls or hurtful words or any other terrible meanings necessary allowed. Otherwise, Ren Hoek from Comedy Central's The Ren and Stimpy Show will hunt you down until the ends of Earth. Keep that in mind. Be sure to subscribe to our channels and click the notification bell. You'll never go to miss a video the second it goes live on YouTube and Google. With that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time. Have a nice day!
Final results.